Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Choice Hacking. I am Jen Clinehens, the managing director and founder of Choice Hacking, and we're going to talk about another email psychology breakdown. This time we're talking about Jones Road, an e-commerce makeup brand started by legendary makeup artist Bobbi Brown. We're going to go through this email, talk about what's working, what's not, and why, and a little bit of the psychology and behavioral science behind why these things are working or not working. So let's go. You can see behind me all of the points that we're going to cover in this video. So if you want to stop the video and take a quick screenshot so you can have this for later, this is here. Great. So let's get started with the subject line. So the subject line for this email, and this is actually an email that I got, says, "Don't forget to break the seal." Now, this subject line speaks to what is a common pain point with this particular viral product. So it's something called the Miracle Balm. You can see it here on the right-hand side in this image. It's kind of like a bronzer blush type of makeup if you're not familiar with makeup. And what's interesting about this product, and part of the reason why it went viral on TikTok, is because you have to do something you don't have to do with many other kinds of makeup, which is actually breaking the seal. So you have to kind of dig your finger into this makeup for it to work. And interestingly, it went viral on TikTok because a lot of people were trying it without breaking the seal. And so they were having a bad product experience while other people were breaking the seal and having a great experience. So it became this big debate on TikTok, and all of a sudden it became a viral product. But I think what's really interesting about the subject line and the whole concept of the email is it's speaking very directly to a product pain point that people have that they've expressed, and it's trying to solve that pain point. We have to get customers onboarded in a different way because it's not a process that they're used to. The one thing I would kind of mark down on the subject line, I say this about a lot of subject lines, but I think it's just low-hanging fruit. No personalization. So it wouldn't have hurt them to just say, "Don't forget to break the seal, Jen." But they decided not to for whatever reason. Who knows if it's something they've tested or not, but if it were me, I would definitely be testing first-name personalization. This is something that you would have first-name personalization for because I actually ordered this product. I'm going to knock it a few points just for no personalization. So next, let's talk about this header image. And in a lot of these email breakdowns, I've kind of knocked the header images because I feel like they're not exactly doing a job. They're just kind of there because that's how people feel like an email should look. It should have some kind of, image in the header that catches people's eye. But there's a difference between a strategic image and an image that's just there because we think an image should be there. Now, you can't tell in this. I'm still trying to figure out how to do this in Miro. But this is actually a GIF. And in the GIF, you have somebody who's actually crunching into the Miracle Balm. They're breaking the seal. And they're showing you how to do it, like how deep you kind of have to dig your finger into to make sure you get enough pigment on this particular product. I think that's really clever because, again, this is a customer pain point. And it's not something that you're trained to do in other kinds of makeup. So they really have to teach you how to do it. I think the image is a great choice here, the GIF. Because it helps customers kind of immediately understand what to do and how to do it, because it's not exactly obvious. It's not something you have to do with other products. Now, this speaks to the picture superiority effect, which basically says that images convey more meaning and are more easily understood and remembered than words. So while you might not get breaking the seal, like that concept may not make a lot of sense if you've never heard that before, when you see someone do it in this GIF, it's easy and you can figure it out really quickly. So let's keep moving down this email. Now, you have this wonderful GIF. You have this nice little headline, "Break the seal to release the pigment." They kind of do a little bit of explaining, which you may or may not need. We'll come back and talk about this particular call to action here. But this section, kind of in the middle, says 2 ways to break the seal. With your finger, and they kind of, show you what that means. Take your index finger, push it down into the product until the top layer is broken into, or with the spatula. Now you can see they've got a little metal spatula here, and it says, "Gently scrape the top layer and move the product around to warm it up." Part of the reason that they have 2 options, 2 ways to do this, not everybody likes to stick their fingers in makeup. This is apparently a big point of contention in the makeup community. And this particular brand is all about kind of heating things up in your hand, natural approaches, natural ingredients. But not everybody likes to touch stuff and get all, schmutzy and gross, right? The one thing I will say, though, is there was no spatula included with the product. So this section of the email kind of made me go back through the box and say, like, did I miss something? Was I supposed to order it? I don't see it in here. Now, that might be a mistake in my order. I don't know if everybody else got a spatula and I didn't. But what I can tell you is it made me look through my box to see if I had one, and I didn't, which was a little bit of a disappointing experience, to be honest. So not great. So that's what I would say is if this is not something that comes with the product or not something that it's obvious people can kind of put in the cart when they order the product, it seems like it's not something you should necessarily include. And that's something they could do really easily, right? With some, like low-level personalization. Did this person order a spatula or not? And if they didn't, then don't put it in the email. Okay, now we're going to move a little bit higher up the email into this little call to action. Now it says, watch Bobby break the seal. And you need a little bit of context, I think, first on the Jones Road brand, and then also on Bobbi Brown, the makeup artist. Now, Bobbi Brown, not Whitney Houston's husband, Bobbi Brown, the very famous makeup artist, all about sort of no makeup looks, and had for many years, or it still has, but isn't a part of, a brand called Bobbi Brown Cosmetics. So, you'll see it in high-end department stores. If you're in the US, it might be at a place like Sephora. So it's kind of a high-end makeup. And it was a very, very popular brand. It still is. Now, Bobbi Brown obviously lent her name to that brand. And she created this, huge fan base, this connection. She had books. She's basically like, in my lifetime, one of the first celebrity makeup artists that I ever remember. Because obviously this is before YouTube and TikTok and all that. So the name Bobbi Brown really means something, and Bobbi Brown, the person, is a connection point for a lot of people coming into this new brand. The other brand is still called Bobbi Brown, so I think there's probably some legalities around how they can use her name. So this call to action that says, watch Bobby break the seal, is a really important one because this is a point of connection. So like I've said here, so Bobbi Brown is the face and creative force behind Jones Road. A personal connection with Bobbi is important because her involvement is what attracts many people to this brand. And even if they don't know that Jones Road is her brand, once they find out that it's Bobbi Brown's brand, a lot of people are like, oh, okay, I'll try it. So Bobbi really is the connection point for a lot of people for Jones Road. Now, the problem with this is when you go on and continue the journey, so you click watch Bobbi break the seal, it doesn't actually show Bobbi Brown breaking the seal. What it does do is it takes you to an Instagram reel that shows some people breaking the seal, but you really can't tell like who it is. It's just kind of a finger in the Miracle Balm. And then it shows the different shades of Miracle Balm. So this to me is a huge miss because obviously like this parasocial relationship, so a parasocial relationship is a one-sided relationship that forms between an audience and a performer, or in this case, a celebrity makeup artist. That creates that bond that makes people want to, engage with the brand, and makes them want to follow and buy from the brand. And they've kind of broken the journey here a little bit by not actually showing maybe Bobbi Brown explaining the product and then breaking the seal. Instead, it's just this kind of generic Instagram reel. So maybe not like the best journey. And actually, I'm going to do a video that breaks down the journey from all of the Jones Road welcome emails into like kind of where they're taking you and what happens next. We're either going to do that this week or next week, but depending on when you're watching this video, just look in the description and I will link out to the next video when we get there. But for now, I just want to focus on this welcome email. The concept is there, and in theory, this is a really great call to action because it pulls on that idea of a parasocial relationship. Okay, so moving down to the bottom of the email, you can see we've got something that says join JRB Roadies, our community group, and then they talk about, a few things that you'll get if you join this particular group, which happens to be a Facebook group that's invite only. When I followed this call to action down here, I was taken to a Facebook group where I had to enter the email that I had used to actually purchase the product. So it's not open to everybody. It is kind of an exclusive community once you actually buy from Jones Road. And I think that's a nice bit of personal connection with the CTA to join the Facebook group. It is a little potentially distracting to include in this email. And I think they do such a good job with kind of meeting the pain point here that I wonder, is this necessary, or would it be stronger if they put it in a standalone email? Especially because, as you'll see when I do the video on the journey, it does feel like they repeat this idea of like breaking the seal and address this pain point several times, at least in the emails that I've gotten. So it could be something worth testing. It just depends on how much of a priority it is to get people into this Facebook group. Again, I think that's something they would just have to test, and it really depends on how big a priority this Facebook group is to the business itself. And that's it, everybody. So that is our Jones Road welcome email psychology breakdown. We talked about some things that work, some things that didn't, and some things that I would change. Now, if you find this interesting, I would recommend joining my free newsletter. It's the Choice Hacking newsletter where I talk about behavioral science and psychology for business. We do talk about email marketing quite a bit, digital marketing, case studies from some really cool brands, and it's free, and you get an email every single week. If you want to join, the link is in the description, or you can just visit choicehacking.com/read. If you like this email psychology breakdown, you're a hands-on founder, or you're a head of marketing somewhere, you're interested in having me do something like this for your marketing, check out the link below. There's a customer experience audit that I offer. Basically, it's about 30 minutes of me going through as many pieces of marketing as we can fit in 30 minutes. and giving you something like this. So my first impressions, things that I think are working, not working, and how I might fix them. So if you're interested in that, check it out. The link is in the description. See you next time.